Hello, welcome to the first ever episode of We Don't Talk About Uno. This is a podcast for anybody that's excited about the new trading card game from Disney called Lorcana. My name is Simeon, and I'm sat here with a very special co-host. If he was brought up in the Casa Madrigal, his special gift would be social awkwardness.
That's fair. My name's David. I've been hanging around in board game shops for as long as I can remember, never really knowing why. And I think I might have found out why. I'm really excited about Lorcana.
What do you mean never knowing why? To hang out with me, David. It's because I'm there. That's the whole point. So we're pretty excited. I would say on a scale of 1 to very excited, I'm very excited about this new game. So I'm excited enough to have started a podcast about it. And we're hoping to get this live the evening that the Expo D23 closes, which is the big Disney Expo where all of this just got revealed. We're good to go.
I guess someone's listening because they're somewhat interested in Lorcana. But what are some of the reasons that we're excited about it?
Yeah, so for me, I think the biggest thing, I really was agnostic about this game. I heard that they were making that Disney were making a trading card game. And I'm a bit of a trading card game nerd. I was like, oh, okay. And then I had all of the thoughts of everything that could go wrong with it. I really don't want to see a battle royale between Darth Vader and Goofy, which is what we might end up seeing. But I had the worst visions of what this game could be in my mind. And then I saw the cards. And the cards are incredible, are beautiful. They've obviously had a lot of thought put into them. We're going to talk a lot about each of the individual cards they revealed so far. But there's a thread that goes through everything. They're all connected, and the actual scene that they're painting with the new cards is something that has converted me.
Yeah. So just want to take a step back there, Simeon, because you mentioned this phrase, and it's in the title of the game, trading card game.
Yes.
And I know some listeners they're listening because they know exactly what that is and they're excited about it from that perspective. But there may be other listeners who are into Disney and this is the first time they've heard of a trading card game. So can you give us the broad brushstrokes, not lots of depth, the broad brushstrokes of what is a trading card game and how it works?
You're totally right. I think at the moment, a lot of the people that are talking about this are going to be people who already play other trading card games. So they already play things like Pokemon, things like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! These are really popular trading card games across the world. But at the same time, we don't want this podcast to just be about that, and we don't want our conversations to exclude people who are looking at this from being a massive Disney fan and really enjoying everything that Disney are putting out and going, this could be a cool game. Maybe they've played Disney board games like Villainous, and they're like, oh, that was really cool. Here's a game that I could also get into. So a trading card game, essentially, I alluded to it already. I think most people are probably aware of trading card games like Pokemon, where you get a little envelope with some random cards in. You don't know which cards you're getting.
Shiny envelopes.
Sorry. You get a very shiny envelope with very shiny pieces of cardboard in. And you don't know which card you're getting, and you could open absolutely amazing chase cards. Some people open it for the art. Some people are interested in the actual game mechanics themselves and being really strategic with the cards they're playing. And then they get those cards, they put them together into their own deck. Usually trading card games are games where you build your own deck of cards and you play that deck of cards against someone else's deck of cards. And we're kind of assuming that Lorcana is going to be no different.
Yeah.
So it's really popular. There are competitions about this. I think probably most people, though, just enjoy picking it up with their friends. We use the phrase kind of kitchen table games, where literally they've just got the cards, open them up. What have you got? Brilliant. Let's play a game. So that's, in a nutshell, is trading card games. What have I missed?
So I'm thinking about when I was a kid and I collected sports. Well, they were stickers at that time, but you got them in this shiny pack. There was still the shiny packet, and you opened it up, and you didn't know which they were soccer players, footballers. You didn't know who you were going to get, and you wanted to get everyone in the Premier League. And part of the fun of it was like, what am I going to get? But then there were some that were just really hard to get. So you took them into school, you traded them with your friends. It was a lot of fun. So is that an element of it too? Like you mentioned, the collection side as well. So
Definitely. I think the whole reason that Disney have branded this as a trading card game is that they see the community element of, I open a load of cards, you open a load of cards, we swap around which ones we need, and together we have a better experience of that. I know that in other games, people will collect a certain type of card, and in this game, I'm sure that there'll be people who will collect all of the same character or all the different arts of different things.
All the characters from one movie or from a particular franchise within Disney.
Yeah, and I think that trading card game manufacturers know this. They know, people are going to want to collect all of the cards from Frozen and play a Frozen deck where Anna and Elsa and Sven battle against another deck. So they usually make those cards work really well together. They're not blind to this. They're not going to make you play Anna and Elsa alongside Boba Fett. Or maybe they are, I don't know. I'm speculating. But in other games, what usually happens is you play similar types of cards together.
Yep. And you said their battle against, and we don't know what this game is yet, and I'm quite curious about whether it is battle against. So maybe we'll talk about that in another episode.
Yeah.
But there could be a different mechanic. So there are some games within a similar space. I'm thinking Keyforge here, where the main aim isn't fighting, isn't conflict. It's progressing your own goal, doing something for yourself. And if you get there first, it's kind of a race rather than there's an element of conflict with other players, but there's also an element of, this is what I want to do with my characters, and these characters are really good at helping me do that, and these characters are really good at stopping the other player from doing that.
Yeah, I guess the reason that I said battle against is because on the actual cards, there is a little shield around one of the numbers.
That's true, yeah.
I'm assuming that shields usually block something.
Yeah.
And it usually blocks unwanted actions.
Yep.
So I'm kind of leaning towards the fact that this won't be a collect, as in it's going to be. It's already a collectible, but I'm assuming this won't be collect all of the things card game. I'm assuming this will be trying to somehow impact your opponent's board, your opponent's cards, and somehow reach a victory that way.
Yep.
So, David, I guess the other thing for me that is super exciting is that this seems to be Disney doing this right. It seems like they're getting a lot of things right. And when we went through the list of our little personal wish lists of what we want from this trading card game, they seem to be ticking a lot of boxes there. So tell me a bit about that. What are they getting right for you?
You've already mentioned the art, Simeon, and the art is amazing. And they have commissioned, and it might not be immediately obvious to people who've looked at the art, but they've commissioned original art for this. They've not taken movies. They've not taken screenshots. You might call it that. That wouldn't be what they do. But they've not done a screen grab of something else that they've got and then put it into this game. They've gone to an artist and commissioned the art for this game. So they're clearly invested in a big way in this game. And they've talked about already how there will be different, so the same character in different art styles.
Yeah.
And you can probably think of that yourself, Simeon, when you think about if you've ever watched I'm quite into Disney and Pixar, so I sometimes watch stuff about how this stuff's made.
Yeah.
And you see the sketch drawings compared to then how it's built out into a 3D character with Pixar, and the same with Disney. And I think that kind of thing is an example of how there could be at least two different art styles, but I think there could be lots of different art styles, and they've said there will be for the same character.
That's it, and they're also really focusing their promotion around the art as well. It's really refreshing to see that from such a big player, they're naming the artist on the card. So some card games do this, other card games don't do this, and it's great to see that they've gone down the route of every artist that they've commissioned. They've actually respected them by, okay, here's the person that did the drawing on this card. So that's been brilliant.
Yeah. I want to talk about the partnership that they've set up here as well with Ravensburger, who's in the space of board games, and people might know them through puzzles as well, jigsaw puzzles.
Yeah.
They're a pretty huge publisher. They've been around for over a century. They're based they started in Germany. They've obviously got divisions around the world now, which in the recent renaissance of board games, Germany was like where that came out from. And they've worked with Disney for the past few years on the Villainous game. So I imagine that's where this partnership came from. So they're pretty serious there in terms of choosing a... Disney haven't gone, we're just going to do this ourselves. They've chosen a partner that really understands this industry of board games and card games. And I think that's quite significant.
And it's really great to see that they have chosen Ravensburger as a partner, because when I've played a Ravensburger game, it's been really high quality components. It all looks good. It's all cut properly. And you open it up and it's a nice opening experience as well as just the game itself.
Yeah.
So they know how to make good stuff as well, as in they know how to make quality products as well as good games.
Yeah. And maybe this might be something that's obvious to some people, but maybe to people new to this world, Ravensburger games have strategy to them. So you have to make interesting decisions about how you're going to win. So it's not snakes and ladders where you roll the dice, or you might even think of Monopoly where there's a lot of luck involved. There obviously is a little bit of luck in many games, but with Ravensburger, a lot of whether you win is based on the decisions you make in that game. And I can see that translating across to this game too, that they'll want to include that in this game, that if you're good at the game, you're more likely to win.
And I guess that is a really important point, that this is going to be a strategic game.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be, I've collected the cards and then I play glorified top trumps with them. If you've played top trumps, you're literally just comparing numbers on cards. It's not a game. It is. Some people, I'm sure people find it fun. I'm going to get shot down for this.
Is top trumps a thing in the US? I'm just thinking about listeners around the world. And
I don't know. Okay, if you've never played top trumps, you get a card. It's got some stats on it. So let's say you're playing Star Wars Top Trumps, which
there is Star Wars Top Trumps. There's Disney Top Trumps. There's Frozen. There's Top Trumps for everything. Yeah.
It might have, your card might say Darth Vader, and it'll have a load of different stats, but one of them might be Force Power 9, and then you open up a Stormtrooper, and the next one is Stormtrooper, and it's Force Power 0, and therefore Darth Vader wins against a Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Obviously, not the greatest game I've played. I'm going to go with that.
But it's really popular. It's in every shop. It's a mainstream game, and I think that's because they've understood the importance of what we call intellectual property in games, working with partners where they've got brands that connect with people and that people know.
You can't convince me.
No.
Non-game.
I'm not. I'm not espousing the virtues of the game. I'm saying they've done their homework on how to sell a game.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And to be honest, yeah, it is something.
But it's also pretty fun if you're 5 years old. There's a 5-year-old in my life. If you're 5 years old, it's a game that you can get and you can go with it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So it's going to be strategy elements anyway to Lorcana, and I'm quite excited about that. When I'm playing a game, I want the decisions I make to have an impact on the outcome of the game. And as more emerges, obviously, we'll be talking about that.
Brilliant. So you've told us a little bit, and we've discussed a bit about the production of the game. Have they told us anything about their plans for the future?
Yeah, so that's something they've been pretty clear on this, and both Ravensburger and Disney have talked about it. So I think the fact that the game isn't being released for another year, so they've started bringing it into the public consciousness now means they're pretty serious about this. And then they've already said that they're planning 4 releases a year, which tallies, as far as I know, with other trading card games that have several releases a year. So there will be different sets. So this first set that they're going to release in probably October next year is called the First Chapter. Mm-hmm. But then over 2023 and 2024, there'll be 4 releases in total. And I think it was the CEO of Ravensburger North America, I can't remember his name, but he said that they've got a multi-years planned out. So they're pretty serious about this. This isn't something that they're just testing the waters to see how it goes. They've really, really invested in this, and they're planning to make it big. And it makes sense for them to make it big because this is a multi-billion-dollar market. This isn't a small thing that they're going for. It could add a significant amount to Disney's bottom line. And Disney's huge. It's not gonna be the biggest part of Disney, at least in the current climate, but it could add significantly to their income.
That's great, yeah.
And Ravensburger too. Ravensburger at the minute is, I think, about a $500 million company revenue. Whereas if you think
they're not struggling.
They're not struggling. But if you compare that to you talked about Magic the Gathering, which is one of the most popular trading card games.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're having looked at the stats recently. Last year, 2021, they did over $1 billion in revenue. So that's just one game compared to all the things that Ravensburger does.
Yeah.
So for Ravensburger as well, this is a huge deal. This could, compared to where they're at now, put them in the stratospheres, if you see what I mean.
Definitely. And you said there about how they've got multiple years planned. Now, for trading card game aficionados, they'll be going, oh, that's really good to hear. For people who aren't trading card nerds like myself, this is really important because we see an awful lot of games in this space where they'll launch, they'll have 2 or 3 sets, and then they die within a couple of years. We'll probably talk about why we think this is going to last a bit longer in another podcast. But yeah, that's why we're making such a point over that. Yeah,
and they've invested in this. So I've been doing a bit of research about who's behind the game. Ryan Miller, he's been the one speaking out as the designer of the game. These games tend to have a lot of designers behind the scenes, but he's kind of their headline act, if you like, of designers.
Okay.
So he's been the one talking in press releases about it, and he's got a quite extensive background in game design. And I've said Magic the Gathering a bit too much for a podcast about Disney, but he worked on some of what later became Magic's biggest products.
Okay.
So I think they've clearly done some good headhunting, and if you can dig around on LinkedIn and that kind of thing, and I can see that he's been at Ravensburger for a couple of years, in fact the CEO of Ravensburger North America said he's been struggling to hold on to this secret for so long, and it has been years in the development. And knowing the work that goes into these kind of games, I think it's good that it's been years in the development, and they're clearly putting a lot into developing the game.
Oh, brilliant. And I think we've that this is something that Disney is very happy to sit on something until it's the right time.
Yeah.
I think we see that with movies, and we see that with different franchises, that they don't usually rush things to market. I think that's something that we see quite a lot. That things when they come out, they're planned, they're ready, they're announced years in advance, and when they do come out, they're ready to go. They're hot off the press. Then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for people who haven't yet seen the cards, give me a little bit of an overview on the characters that are there. We're talking about Disney characters on cards. Who have we got?
Mickey Mouse. It's the icon of Disney, right?
I mean, they couldn't really have gone much bigger. For first cards, there's Mickey. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? I think that says an awful lot to Disney fans.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people are probably going, why do I care why do I care that Mickey Mouse is on a card? I want the really cool characters that I'm interested in. I want to see the Avengers. I want to see Star Wars characters. However, having the brand of Disney on the front of the card as well as the back is a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to see Mickey too. I think it's great that Mickey's there. And then we have Elsa from the movie Frozen 2, and a few of the
and other Frozen content.
Yeah, let's call it content.
And every children's backpack in the last 5 years.
Yeah, looking at the level of merchandise there is around Frozen compared to other recent Disney movies, I'm sure that it's been a big success for them. Yeah,
but I would say this isn't the case for all the cards. So we've got some really big names on the cards. Yeah. There are some cards that have got characters that I was quite surprised to see.
So who were you surprised to see?
I was surprised to see Captain Hook.
Okay, now I think this is interesting because for me, that's an immediate connection because I grew up. in the 80s and 90s, I'm that old, yeah.
You had to think that. You were like, do I tell them?
Yeah.
Do I let them know?
Do I let them know? Yeah. And that was kind of, I guess that's, I think the Little Mermaid and the Lion King in the 90s started the renaissance of Disney.
Yes.
And Toy Story, maybe especially. But that was kind of a period when if my parents wanted to put a movie on for me, it was from 20, 30, 40 years ago in general. And so Peter Pan is one of the ones that I watched a lot as a kid. And so for them, who are the people that are into these trading card games? Actually, it's people of all ages.
Yes.
And so I think they've gone across the decades. They've gone way back to the start of Disney with Mickey Mouse.
Uh-huh.
But off the top of my head, Peter Pan came out in the 50s, so they've gone then. Mm-hmm. And then another one maybe you're surprised to see is Robin Hood. Were you surprised to see Robin Hood or not so much?
Okay, so let me tell you why I was surprised to see Captain Hook.
Yeah.
Two reasons.
Yeah.
Firstly, I don't know if kids now, they might know who Peter Pan and Captain Hook is.
Yeah.
I don't know if they care.
Yeah.
But you're totally right. Older audience cares.
Yeah.
The other reason, though, is that Peter Pan is a movie that has a content warning at the start.
Yep.
Because you probably wouldn't put out a movie that racially insensitive
Yep.
in 2022.
Yeah.
And obviously, the Disney have done a lot to rehabilitate these characters, and these are fictional characters who, from stories. And I think the new stories that they're going to be telling about these are going to be engaging and fun. But Captain Hook isn't necessarily somebody that I would be like, oh yeah, there's a Disney character that I want to put on a flagship product.
Okay. And I just thought of another angle. So I've only played Villainous once or twice, and
Okay.
that was quite a while ago. I enjoyed it, but it's not a game that I own. And Captain Hook is one of the villains in that, and
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Maleficent. Am I saying that right?
I don't know. Let's go with the French pronunciation, Maleficent.
Maleficent.
No,
That's not. That's not. That's not going to work. Yeah, Maleficent. I
love the European
I'm
bit.
pretty sure she's in Villainous as well.
Yes, so I think she's the star.
She's just that makes perfect sense. And so I think there's some kind of sense of bringing that audience with them, because that game has been a huge success. There's been a Star Wars version, there's been a Marvel version of that game. So it makes sense that they're immediately establishing a connection with Villains as well, which has been a huge success. Probably Disney's biggest success in the board gaming space. It's not that there's loads of board games. I own a checkers, a Frozen themed checkers set. Well, it's not mine. It's someone in my family's. But yeah, there's all kind card games. There's so much Disney. But I think Villainous has been, compared to a lot of this stuff, it's kind of really connected with people. And I think that's probably why we've ended up, well, a big reason we've ended up where we are with this trading card game is because they saw the potential initially with Villainous and where that's gone.
Yeah. Well, Villainous is a good game, not just a good Disney game.
Yeah.
So that's great. So we've talked a lot about how we're receiving the characters. And I've talked about how maybe other demographics are perceiving this. But I did ask somebody today. Today I asked my very own resident 8-year-old what the deal was with the game, what they thought of the game. And let's hear from them. So I am here with a real-life 8-year-old. For child protection reasons, we can't use your real name. What would you like me to call you?
How about just call me child?
Just call you Child.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've just shown you the cards.
Yeah.
What do you think?
They're all like very creative, and they all have like different artworks, and they're really nice. And they've all got like different environments, so that's really cool. They all just look amazing. Yeah.
Cool. So, okay, here's the big question, though. I'm aware you are already quite the Pokemon fan.
Yeah.
You walk into a shop, it's
Yeah.
Pokemon cards,
Yeah.
there's these cards next to it.
Yeah.
Which ones do you pick first time round?
First time I've seen these cards. Because I've seen Pokemon before, I think I would try to give these a go because they look nice and they might be really cool.
So, what do you think about the choice of characters?
I mean, obviously, these aren't the only characters there.
Yeah, there are probably going to be more characters.
Yes. If this was a game and they didn't have Phineas and Ferb or Dipper or people from Gravity Falls or stuff, I'd be like, why don't they have these? Because Phineas and Ferb, iconic Disney characters.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time.
Can I have like the iPad for like the whole time?
That was amazing.
Brilliant.
I loved it.
So, you know what? I didn't script the little guy at all. Sorry, Child. I didn't script Child at all. And he just came out with all of that, which was great. He was so much more positive than I thought. This is one of the biggest Pokemon fans that I know. And he's just like, this looks great. Brilliant.
It does look great, to be fair.
Well, I mean, it looks good to me as a TCG fan. I guess I was looking to somebody who isn't particularly a TCG fan, is just a kid. And to hear him be so positive about that, that really gave me a lot of hope for the game. So, okay, who do we think Disney are targeting this at then?
That's a really good question. So, I guess I'm thinking from a business angle or a marketing angle. Who do they want to capture? Do they want to steal market share from the current players? Well, that's obviously going to be part of what happens, or that they hope will happen. Or do they want to find a fresh new market for trading card games? And I think it's probably a bit of both. I think they want to expand the overall market for trading card games. They want to bring, because Disney's huge, Disney's everywhere, and I know some people love them for that, and some people really don't like them for that. It's but like it or not, Disney is everywhere, and the people know Disney characters, and I can really imagine that this is going to get people interested, whether they just want to collect the cards. That's already me, guilty as charged. I just want to collect the cards, whether the game is amazing or not, and I'm sure it will be, to be honest, but I just want the cards.
Well,
but
this is another thing.
Yeah.
There is also, so there are people Disney fans who will buy a lot of Disney product. There's one part. However, there are also diehard Disney collectors as well.
That's true. Yeah.
And there are people who will want or feel they need every card in every set because it's a Disney thing and it's a collectible. Every collectible that Disney put out, they want to be part of. So that's really interesting. I guess the other thing is, and perhaps people who aren't TCG players won't know this, but for trading card games, TCGs, there I just used the lingo. Well done. You're getting in with the lingo crowd. For those people, we often see products that are a little, as I said, a little envelope of cards with maybe 10, 15 cards in them that people are selling for $4. And that's been the kind of norm for trading card games. But we're also seeing these massive special sets that are literally hundreds of dollars to buy special editions of cards or special finishes or limited runs by special artists. We've seen this in sports cards, and we're now seeing it in traded card games as well. Do you think that there's an element of Disney going, I want to sell 4 pieces of cardboard for literally hundreds of dollars?
Well, this weekend they're selling 6 pieces of cardboard in a lovely box, in a gorgeous box, for $49. You get 6 characters. We've not talked about all of them. We've discussed some of them today, and then they're giving away the Mickey cards to people that attend the what's the name of the event?
The D23.
D23, thank you. And so clearly they see potential there. And clearly collectors see potential as well. And I'm excited to talk about this in another episode, but if you want that Mickey card that's being given away at that event, at the moment, as we're recording, you're paying a minimum of $250 for that card. If you want the full set of 6, they're listed for sale for $2,000, and I've seen screenshots of them selling at that price. So,
ouch.
Yeah, so there's clearly, and I wonder if that's taken Disney by surprise. I'm really curious. I'd be curious to know.
They've sold out every single day.
Yeah,
which might be a market strategy. They might have gone, we're aiming.
It's a great marketing strategy to sell out. Yeah,
we want to be able to say we're selling out of these cards every single day, but they have achieved that. So there's definitely interest. But at the same time, I wonder whether, maybe we're not giving Disney enough credit here. Maybe this is very planned, and they know the people that are currently interested in this are your trading card diehard fans who will spend $50 at an event, who will spend hundreds of dollars online for the cards that they want to collect. And that in a year's time, in a couple of years' time, when this is mainstream, when this is mass market, that, yeah, it'll be $4 a pack and your kids can enjoy them as well. But those are two different markets and they're just approaching them differently. Maybe Disney perhaps a multi-billion-dollar corporation know exactly what they're doing.
Yep. Or even if they don't know exactly what they're doing, it's I would say they understand their marketing strategies, don't they? Yeah. But I do wonder if it's caught them by surprise, because if you look at other, so we're both obsessed by this game. That's why we're creating this podcast, and I've been looking on eBay at what's selling, not just in terms of these sets, but what other merchandise from D23.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else going in that kind of nothing else at the $250 or the $2,000 price range. It's you can pick up pin badges for $20-$30.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's very interesting, like, because there is a direct comparison that a pin badge from another stall celebrating the Hercules anniversary is going for your $20, and pin badge collectors,
and they would be collectible.
Those are collectibles. However, like, you can double, if not triple that, if you want the Mickey badge that says Lorcana on it, because trading cards are so much more collectible. Yeah,
but on the other hand, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because this is a completely new brand that until a week ago, almost nobody, unless they were inside Disney or Ravensburger, had heard of.
I mean, they've done very well keeping the lid on it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about pricing, David, have you been tempted?
Have I been tempted? Yes, I have. I haven't bought one. No.
You haven't bought any of the cards?
I am tempted. I think we'll talk about it more in another episode in terms of the potential for this and why people who are collectors may be assessing that $250 is a good investment for a playing card of Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. I mean, that could be the start.
In terms of so there's my wow, this is amazing mind, and there's also the Moana perspective. No one knows how far this goes, but. You can actually do an assessment of how far this could go, because you can look at other trading card games and see where they've gone.
Yeah, 200.
If you've bought the first card in the set that was ever made.
Yeah, $250 for a first edition of even an unpopular trading card game doesn't seem outrageous.
No. So the name's pretty cool too, huh? Lorcana. I know. I've seen different opinions online. Some people love it, and some people are like, why didn't they call it the Magic Kingdom, or why didn't they go with a brand that they already had? But I think actually it's a really good sign that they've staked the territory here. They've not named it after one of their theme parks or something like that. They've given it its own identity. I think that's promising.
Yeah, I admire the name.
Yeah,
and I also have no horse in the game when it comes to the name. So the name, I think Lorcana. They've just tested a lot. Obviously, I mean, it's Disney. It's a multi-billion. They've tested this with focus groups, and that sounded cool to people. To me, it doesn't really say much. It's a lot of these brands are kind of grey. You can put whatever you want into it, and because it can be all things to all men, therefore, that's great, isn't it? Everybody then enjoys it.
Yeah.
However, also, I really respect the fact that from a search engine optimization point of view, it's very Googleable. If they had called it Disney the Magic Kingdom, then up would come on Google would come that section of the theme parks, or a load of other content, or a load of other things. They've been able to control the narrative for the first few weeks of this being announced by giving it a unique name and an SEO optimized name.
Yeah. So the designer has gone on record.
Okay.
As saying that the name is a combination of the word lore, which is obviously like stories, old stories, mythology, and arcana. So if you think about Disney movies, they connect with fairy tales, they connect with tales as old as time, and I think that they are going for that kind of. You're creating a story with this. As you play this game, you're creating a story and you're entering a story world.
So the Arcana is also the name of the standard tarot card deck.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's probably where Arcanas come from.
What else does it mean? Because it means other stuff as well.
It means secret. It comes from the Latin arcanus, meaning secret, and entered the English as the Dark Ages gave way to the Renaissance. Thank you very much, Merriam-Webster? Merriam-Webster. Oh my goodness, I can't talk.
Yep. Yeah, so there's that sense of uncovering secrets as well, I suppose. That chasing something slightly out of reach that fits really well with the whole trading card game thing.
Opening a dozen packs of cards and still not finding the one you want.
Yep.
Or finding it.
And there are other brands that have the word secret in the products that they sell. It fits with the kind of brand of...
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, that is part of the excitement for trading card game nerds. That's massive for me. Is that opening cards? I know I should just go online and buy the particular card that I want to collect, and yet still I buy the packs and open the packs and get whatever's in the packs, and that little discovery, that little
it's a little cliffhanger moment, isn't it? It's like when you've come to the end of an episode in your favorite TV series. And then something happens, and you're like, I've got to watch the next one. I've got to know what happens next. And it's like, I want to know what's in this pack. And it's partly, will it be the characters that you really like? Because that's the thing in trading card games. There are recurring characters. And you might want to see a card that you like. It's partly, will this card... and we'll talk about how you make decks and why this game is so creative. But will this card make my decks even more interesting or powerful, or a talking point for my friends, or will it make me the winner at my kitchen table or in my local game store where I play this? Yeah,
and it's not just that. It's also a big part of it is, will I open a card that in a $4 pack of cards? Will I open a card that's worth $50?
Yeah. So you mentioned chase cards earlier, and that's what a chase card is it?
Yeah,
this
a chase card would be
me.
So. Yeah, a chase card would just be you open up a card that everyone's trying to open up, that everybody wants, because everybody wants that.
So they're chasing it.
They're chasing it. It's market economics then. You put it online and it goes for sometimes silly money.
So Mickey the Archer is already a chase card. We've already got chase cards. Or is it not, because it's not in a sealed pack?
I mean, the terminology isn't a defined thing. But
okay.
Yeah, I would, I mean, special editions usually go for... crazy.
It's something that people chase, so it's probably a chase card. Yeah.
Brilliant. So we've this discussion has gone all over the place, and I've had fun. I hope the listeners have enjoyed this as well. But before we go, I thought it'll be fun to play a little game.
Okay.
I've got some games prepared, David. Would you like to play a game? Would you like to play a game?
Sure.
Amazing. Okay, so this game is called Movie Mashup. I stole it from a TV show called Cougar Town. And what the game is you take two movies that share a word in the title, you bolt the two titles together, and you describe the movie. And then you, David, are going to have to guess the title of the movie based on my description. That sounds stupidly complicated. I'll give you a really clear example, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm still confused. I'm absolutely baffled, and I always come last in quiz competitions. So I really don't know that I'm going to be good at this. But let's give it a try.
Okay, so feel free to play along by yelling at your smartphone or computer. So here's the example. So I would say something like, a killer whale gives out golden tickets to see who inherits his chocolate factory. The name of that movie mashup is Free Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
That's not even a Disney movie.
But the ones I'm doing are Disney. These are ones I've stolen from the program, and then I've prepared special ones just for you.
Okay, let me try.
No.
This could be embarrassing.
I've got them prepared.
This could be embarrassing.
It's great. So I'll give you another example, so you know we're on the same page.
No, I'm on the same page.
Okay, so a fat cartoon cat gets to play baseball with his dead grandfather, Garfield of Dreams. Great. Your silence means everything to me. Okay, you're going to know exactly. You're going to get these. Don't worry. So let's do this with Disney movies.
I'm skeptical.
It's a Disney podcast. Julie Andrews plays a nanny who helps a preteen tackle her personified emotions.
So there's a Pixar movie where the emotions are personified, and I can't remember the name. And the other one is Mary Poppins. So something about Mary Poppins and something about...
Mary Pop Inside Out.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's Inside Out. I didn't remember the name.
Okay.
I'm terrible at names. So that's going to be one of my issues in this podcast, is being specific with names is one of my challenges.
Okay. We got another one.
Go on.
It's easier. This is the easiest one.
Easier. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, if I don't get this one.
Sorry, I've said it. Say you have to fail now, haven't I? So, a princess cursed to never wake up is locked up by a hairy monster.
Okay, I'm going to guess this one is Sleeping Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. See, it's great. Okay, the last one. It's a stretch.
Okay.
But we're going to go there. A panther and a bear help an armored bounty hunter find his home. It's the Jungle Book of Boba Fett.
I had Jungle Book and I had Mandalorian, but is there a movie called Book of Boba Fett? Is that
You haven't seen the Book of Boba Fett? It's incredible.
No.
You need to watch it. It's
I've been
amazing.
watching The Mandalorian. I'm a bit behind.
What's the so it's the first 2 series of Mandalorian, then Book of Boba Fett,
Okay.
then series 3 of Mandalorian. That's
the order. Okay,
That's the
thank
order.
you.
Massive geek here.
Yeah.
Anything Star Wars, I'm on it. Anything Disney, no idea. Amazing.
I think you're playing yourself down a little bit there on Disney, but
So what are our plans for the next few episodes of the podcast? What are we going to be talking about?
well, I'm quite excited for an upcoming episode where we meet someone who is so into Disney and has no idea about trading card games.
Yeah, so we realised that perhaps hearing two trading card game nerds talk about a Disney trading card game who didn't know that much about Disney wasn't going to be the most engaging thing.
We know enough about Disney. We've had little people in our lives. We spent years with Disney. Let's be fair on ourselves.
I started my life as a child.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, that's something uncommon there. That's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we do have one of the biggest Disney fans we know joining us for a podcast. Her name's Rebecca, and she is going to be incredible. You're going to love her. So that'll either be episode 2 or 3. We're not quite sure. We're still working it out. And we want to talk about the setting. We want to talk about the art. We want to speculate about rules because that's really fun. So that's great. We'd love your support as well. So if you have any questions at all, you can send them in via Twitter. It's at Lorcana Podcast. I'm hoping we can hang on to that handle. But for now, it's at Lorcana Podcast. Drop us a tweet. And if you want to email us, it's lorcanapodcast@gmail.com. Anything you need to get out before we leave the audience in peace for a week.
A week? We're going to release these weekly. That's impressive.
No, I don't know. Something to try. Something to aim for.
I can see that happening if this game takes off. It's going to be pretty... I can see it being pretty huge. I have so much to add, which is why we've got other episodes planned. So I'm looking forward to those.
Brilliant. All right, nice one. Catch you soon.